In the previous video, we created our first little application, a form in Microsoft Access. And as you could see, the form simplifies the view and makes this uh, interface more user-friendly. So it allows us to see the data real quick, the data that we want, and change the values, assign specific faculty member to specific students. So there are additional options with forms that we have, and this is part 2, and we are going to create a form within the form. So we're going to go through it step by step, so please follow along and it will make more sense as we proceed. So we will be creating a form within a form, and it will make more sense as we do it. But before we proceed, I wanted to show an important feature of our database that we've created that allows us to now connect tables. So if we click on either faculty or students, you can see that there are plus signs next to each faculty entry. So we have 7 unique faculty members here, and next to each faculty there is a plus sign. If we click that plus sign, it gives us a list of all students connected to that faculty member, and that happens to everyone. So one faculty member is connected to many students, and this is thanks to our relationship table that we created here. So when we click on faculty, it gives us a list of all students along with their information. Here, all the columns here gives the list of all the students that are connected to this faculty. Same happens with students and advising notes. So let's take a look. Take a look at students, and it gives us a list of all notes in the advising notes table. Obviously, there are no notes. We didn't enter any notes. We just created a table, if you remember, and this is it. So this is the feature of our data, and because of this feature that we created of this structure where tables are connected to each other, we can also create forms that are connected to each other. So let's see how to do that. And as I said, it will make more sense as we work on it. So in order to create a form within a form, to exploit this interconnectedness, let's go to Form Wizard. And here we are going to use tables, information from 2 different tables, from students and advising. So first table, students, we want to add student ID, first name, last name, and say take their email. And then we're going to select another table, advising notes table, and select everything, add everything from that table. Okay, so now we have student's ID from both tables, and Access tells us, which one is which. Advising notes table, and this student ID is from students table. So let's go next, and here we want to keep it default. We want the data to be viewed by students, so student, and then additional notes listed by student, rather than we want to see a note and then all the students associated with that note. So we want it to organize by student and then having notes shown by student. So form with subforms. This is what we need, not linked forms. Next, you can play with both, but we're going to use tabular in this case. And students say and advising, just to show that it's form within the form. And hit finish. So this is our form within a form. So we have a student here listed, and then there are advising notes. And we do that basically so that we can select a student and then add advising notes. And I'll show you how to do that. And this is what the design looks like. Again, I'm changing view here in the bottom right corner, or you can go to home and changing view here. So we need to reorganize this a little bit so that it looks nicer, and then we can proceed with the using the form. So let's reorder a couple of things here. I want to add a combo box that will pull up all the student information by their last name. So I'm going to delete these. I'm going to click on combo box, paste here, and I want to find record on my form based on the value I selected in my combo box. Next, I want student ID. I want their last name. So we'll be finding students by their last name. And this is what we're going to be able to select from. The drop-down list in this combo box will show last names. We select the last name and it will pull up all the information per student. So hide the column key, last name, combo, finish. So let's rearrange this a little bit and to make it look a bit nicer. Last name. This is familiar to you, and as I said, it can take any amount of time that you have if you want it to really look very beautiful. Let's preview this. So Skywalker. So you see, if we had a real list of students, we wanted to add an entry. So we had a visit from a student, and we want to add an entry. So we can basically select the student by the last name. I chose last name if ID is better in your situation, or whatever you're doing this for. Maybe you want to use the ID. So, but it's working. It's pulling up all the information and it's adding student ID to our advising notes table. And we will need to enter manually additional points here, but let me do one step at a time. So let's reorganize this real quick. So I'm not going to do it really nice and neat because that will take much more time. Our purpose here is to show how to do things, and so that you know the tools. First name, last name. Something like this. So you can skip forward really. Email. Okay, well, more or less. Can make this bigger. So we can see the entire email, last name. Advising notes, move them here. We can stretch the advising notes table, make it bigger. Oops. Pull it down a bit further. And meeting date, student ID, main topic, and notes. I want to make them a bit narrower here, because that's really big. Okay, I'm going to make the notes field a bit bigger in case we have bigger notes here, and you get the point anyways. So as I said, it can take any amount of time that you have. We're not going to make it absolutely perfect. That'll take even more time. But you get the idea what is supposed to be done. Let's adjust the width of this field, and that should look a bit better. Slightly to the left. Grab this. smaller, and make this smaller, and maybe a bit more compact. Something like that. Okay, so we have our advising notes here. We can pull up the student record. We want to add a new record for Binks, and it pulls up all the information and student ID. So we already have this specified meeting date as a date. So anytime we want to add a date, we will just select the date. But we need to do one more thing, which is related to main topic. So imagine when we want to add a new record for a student. We had a visit from Trooper and whoever that is. And instead of typing manually each topic, we add in the text. We want to be able to select from a drop-down menu of a predefined list of topics from some what's called control vocabulary. So let's create this main topic instead of having an empty field, we're going to have a specified list of topics to select from, so we don't type it manually every time. So let's call this students form, and we want to save changes. Yes, we've made a lot of changes. And let's open this advising notes table subform. Can move it to the right, it will be full thing. Subform. So this is only a subform that's part of this student advising form. So we just open this subform, close this, open the design view, and here we want a drop down menu combo box for main topic. And when we do that, this time we want to select the option in the middle. I will type in the values that I want. So we will define the set of values, the set of options that the drop-down menu will give us. And this is the column where we do that. So let's do AVN number, then arrow, down arrow instead of enter, registration. Well, let's say elective courses, then internships. These are going to be all the menus that will show up when we click on this main topic combo box. Okay. Academics and other, the all-inclusive other options, whatever is left there. So what do we want to do with these once we add the data here? When we will be adding, what do we want to do with these values? Well, we want to store them. We want to store them in the main topic field of the advising notes table. Next, and main topic. Finish. So we have our main topic combo box or drop-down menu. We can delete this. We don't need that. We can delete this now, and we put this in here. As usually, doesn't go as smoothly as we want. Well, we will proceed. Something like that. So now let's test it. Let's change the view to layout form view. So now in our advising subnode, we have all these options: other, registration, AVN, and so on. And we can actually create several, can proceed to the next record and so on. But it will ask us probably if we want to save it. Yeah, it wants other fields. But anyway, so our main topic drop-down menu actually works, and you see the values that we defined. It gives us these values. Then we now can select from these values, and this is what we're doing. So instead of having an empty field where we would have to type in manually the main topic, now we have a drop-down menu, and it not only saves time, it also ensures consistency and data quality. So instead of typing every time different topic, you will basically, it will be more consistent because you will have only 6 options here. So let's just real quick, you must enroll. No, hold on. Escape. Let's go back here, and this is a little bit messy. A line on the left. All right, that should be fine. We can make notes a bit smaller. There's not as much information. So right click, save. We saved our form, subform that will show up here in students advising. So this is our students advising form, that is advising form within a bigger form, students form. So let's say we had a visit from Skywalker. We select the student, and this information is pulled up, and this is what we selected when we created this form within the form. If you remember, we added only 3 values from the student table. So anyways, you select the last name, all the information pulls up. And the ID is added automatically here. So all what we need to do, our advising nodes, by the way, are empty right now. So our advising nodes table. So meeting date, February 11th, and whichever you want. The ID is already there. Main topic, now we have our drop-down menu, AVN, whatever registration. Give him his AVN. And all what we need to do to add this entry to our advising nodes table is click save. So now if we open this up, we have an entry here. His AVN. And advising nodes, do you want to change the layout? Layout is the fact that I changed the width of the column. Yeah, let's do that. So this is it. All this hassle just to simplify this process. And it's difficult, but if you close everything and try to reproduce it on your own, after a couple attempts, you will get there definitely. Solo meeting date, February 9, main topic, registration, 2021. Save. Advising table, we have another here. And now if we open students and pull up all the well, hit the plus sign, and you will see all the records from the advising nodes table associated with that student. So I did 2 entries for 2 students, but I didn't do anything else for others. Now if they came 100 times, we would have 100 records here. So this is how this works, and as you can see, this form helps us to maintain the data set. It's relatively easy to enter additional values to our data set, and this is how it's supposed to work. So, all right, as usually, I hope you learned something new, and I hope you may use these forms in the future. And if you do use them, that you will find, you will remember this tutorial. All right.